Well, what I love about it is I'm independent and I have access to the healthiest food in the world. I'm able to share that with the entire community and make a huge impact and really just change the culture to be far more sustainable and independent as well. Moran, nice to meet you. I'm the local mushroom guy, people call me, but I do all the wild foraging of plants and mushrooms and like the stinging nettles we just had. So yeah, I just sell wild specialty food and I pick things all over the place. It's loaded. We just have so many greens. They're really, really sustainable. You know, you're just picking the tops and they keep growing and they keep growing, and there's just so many greens here, and in the springtime we can pretty much eat as much as we want without any negative effect, and there's so many positive effects, and they taste really good too. There's no hidden surprise or catch-22. They taste good and they're easy to get and very sustainable. You know, a lot of people don't know very much about foraging and they get really concerned about overpicking. In this case, they're gonna grow up and go to seed no matter what you do. So I think it really is a case where you want to get as much as you possibly can, because then we can reduce the amount of food we get from other areas. One thing that people don't really take into account sometimes is all food that we eat, everything we consume and purchase has a huge impact. You just don't normally see it. So when people go out and start cutting things in the woods, it can be a bit shocking. But once you learn and you get to really see what's happening, you kind of realize that the most irresponsible thing to do would be to not pick them. So I'm glad I'm able to, you know, pick as much as I can, share this with other people, and should be nothing but really, really positive effects. Because the more you pick, the more they grow, they just keep coming up. So, you know, for a few weeks of the year, you can just get as much greens as you want, and there's no real downside. Well, I was making most of my income by selling to restaurants, and then the restaurant shut down. So for about a month, I really didn't have too much going on, but then I sort of found a way to replace that by teaching people how to collect their own food, and ever since things have been going really well. So I think my business has actually gotten better. Basically just, you know, a few times a month, just buy some greens and mushrooms and eat out at fancy restaurants and request the wild food on the menu. If you want to see more diversity in our food culture, then the best way to do that is to just, you know, say if something's on special, even though they buy my ingredients, you might not even see my stuff on a menu. So you have to really keep a close eye out for true wild ingredients, and don't get fooled by like the farmed oyster mushrooms on toast that are so often sold as wild mushrooms on toast. Like, it only costs $10. It's probably not true.
Morel?
No, those are morels. These are stinging nettles. So greens and mushrooms, all the food groups. Well, incorporating wild plants with the farms makes sense for a lot of reasons. Like, to have successful organic farming, you need to keep your flowers and your certain types of weeds to bring in the predator insects to, you know, kill out the other things. But I mean, I think it's okay to keep them mostly separate as well. You know, you don't really, I think you're only going to reduce your yield if you just leave all the weeds to grow everywhere. And, you know, maybe if somebody wanted to farm some wild seeds or something might be cool, but mostly it's fine to keep them separate. And just, I think the main point is, like, we have so many greens right now in the spring. We're just, you know, when you put priority over using the stuff from the farm just because they've used like water and soil and land and cleared all the trees down. It's challenging because, you know, you could just go to a field across the street that's had zero input and get all your needs, you know, nutritionally as far as greens go anyway. It's one thing Kelowna should know about wild food is it's just that it's really good, you know. I mean, it's skipped a generation, or two or three. You can always hear elderly folk refer to the lamb's quarter, the wild spinach, as pigweed, and then also everyone's talking about how they don't can anymore, and all these really important life skills that we need to look after ourselves have just been abandoned because of, you know, I guess like generally that's like a poor farmery type thing to have to grow your own vegetables, and because for a while it was kind of posh to get everything like produced industrially, and it was, you know, kind of like a poor person thing to go and eat weeds, and people really saw it that way. But in times where we're worried about our food security, just to have boxes and boxes and boxes of dried greens for cooking when they're the most healthy foods. You'll just be independent. You can reduce the strain on the food system. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm going to get into pick a little more. All right. One thing I've learned is it's important not to just stop and pick in the very first spot, because if you keep going, there might be a spot that's like 10 times better. So a really good habit is to pick and walk, and that way you'll always be progressing potentially towards like the, you know, the gold mine or whatever. So yeah. East Point on, I've never actually been here before, so it's just raw exploration. So if anybody's ever wondering how I do what I do, this is that you just have to get out there and explore. So hopefully we can find a patch with thousands of these, but no idea. We might fail, we might succeed, we'll see.